CacheFly, and she has brought along with her her business partner from Red5, Chris Allen. He's the CEO of Red5, and they will educate us about a scalable, feature-rich streaming architecture for live streaming and VOD. So coming up in just a few seconds. The floor will be yours. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. My name is Tara Bartley. I am the head of marketing at CacheFly, and I am joined today with Chris Allen, who is the CEO of Red5. Welcome.
Thanks. Thanks for having us up here. Yeah.
So first of all, for those of you who are not familiar with CacheFly, we are a premier content delivery network. We pride ourselves on our performance, throughput, and our flexible white glove treatment and solutions for our customers. Can you tell me a little bit about Red5?
Yeah, so Red5, we're a live real-time video streaming platform that scales. We're typically known for WebRTC, but we're also involve a lot of protocols, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. But our platform is, we have a cloud offering where we host everything for them, and we provide live real-time streams, WebRTC delivery, sub 250 millisecond latency. And we scale both the ingest side, so we have a lot of customers in kind of surveillance and monitoring type use cases where it's thousands of cameras coming all in on at once and very few people watching those. Social media type applications where you get both sides very large, and then one-to-many live streams, and being able to scale those and to as many as you want, basically. And then we complement each other really well, and that's why I'm really excited to kind of talk more about what this collaboration is. So.
Yeah, so let's dig into that, right? You had a lot of choices for folks to partner with, but Red5 chose CacheFly. We just announced this partnership, I think Monday, as recently as Monday. Why CacheFly?
I think the white glove and customization and ability to turn on a dime very quickly is not something you get from a lot of the CDNs, right? It's like, one size fits all, that's what you get. And that was not going to be a great fit for us. And we also had mutual customers that are using the service, your service and ours, and it just kind of became clear that it made a lot of sense to kind of put this together as a package. And CacheFly was a great fit for this.
That's fantastic. Yeah, we have heard from a lot of folks here on the show floor. They really like the idea that CacheFly is a small, privately held company, smaller team, a lot of folks who have been in this industry for 20 plus years, and that really seems to resonate with people, particularly the flexibility.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was critical for us.
So there seems to be some confusion where people think either HLS or WebRTC. It's either one or the other, and that isn't the case. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, this is exactly right. Most of our competitors kind of treat the recording as like a second-class citizen, if you will. And you can get a recording. It's usually an MP4 file, and then get it uploaded to an S3 compatible storage or something like that. And then it's on you to deal with the VOD workflow or the video on demand. And we saw this opportunity to work with you guys to provide this as a soup to nut service for Red5 Cloud, so that when you are doing a recording, that recording is getting the TS segments are being uploaded on the fly up to CacheFly, so it's available immediately for doing things like DVR, scrubbing, going back and forth. So HLS is what we use for that, and that is a great protocol for actually delivering, kind of time-shifted content or pre-recorded content. And so the WebRTC is for, sub 250 millisecond delivery. It's immediate, and then, being able to bridge the gap. Flip the player is basically all we're doing with our front-end player is making it switch to HLS when you're going back in time, and then it switches back to WebRTC player when you're want to snap back to real time. So it's not really an either or choice, right? They complement each other really well. And our company has always been very much protocol agnostic, and we've always supported HLS. We support SRT, RTSP, and we're working on mock or media over quick implementation with some other partners, which we'll be announcing pretty soon, and that'll be a logical fit with CacheFly as well as we start to unload that. So I don't think it's a clear, here's low latency or real-time latency over here, high latency over here, and you got to make a choice. Usually they work well together.
And have you been having those conversations here at IBC with customers and prospects explaining this? And are people happy and surprised to learn this?
I don't know if they're surprised. I think everybody kind of knew it, but it's funny that none of our competitors really looked at it this way, right? They're all playing this game of like, you need to get your live stream as low as possible, right? And then they're just saying that that's all there is to it, kind of a one-dimensional discussion on it.
Right.
But I think all the customers actually know they need this, and they've been looking at it as like, okay, I just need to deal with a separate workflow,
right?
And they just have come to expect that, right? And we're kind of taking a different approach by creating the whole thing, soup to nuts, making it really easy to work with.
Well, now that I'm here as the head of marketing, we need to make sure we communicate this out to the masses, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so the topic that's on everybody's mind all the time these days is AI. How does AI play into our partnership?
Great question. We've been doing a lot of stuff with language models like VLMs to do image detection on the real-time streams coming in, and pulling frames out of that to do like image detection or like anomalies in the stream, or just describing what's happening. Imagine like thousands of traffic cameras, and you're looking for a wildfire taking place, right? A human being looking at them, it would take the fire would have to get going pretty high to actually notice it out of a grid of a bunch of things like that. So this is one kind of use case in the surveillance and kind of like market, but also just doing things like blurring out, somebody flipping the bird right in a live stream. I won't do it now because this is being recorded, and they'll have to blur me out. Maybe that would have been a good illustration of what I'm talking about. But there's all kinds of use cases like this, and most of the time you're doing analysis on the recordings as well, and having those recordings where you can, okay, I found that anomaly in the stream. Let's just use the fire example again. Then a human being is alerted, boom, it describes what's happening, and then we're using the recording, the HLS, to play back that stream of when it started. They can scrub back, oh yeah, sure enough, we better get the fire department on this immediately, and then they can snap back to real time, see how it's going now. Oh man, it's gotten bigger, we better deal with this, that kind of stuff. So the recordings are absolutely essential with these kind of use cases. I think the same is true with live broadcasts. They want to catch things, especially when you start getting into user-generated content. You don't want inappropriate things happening. You can just avoid those altogether. But yeah, there you go.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's the audio part, the live, transcriptions. Like this is basically a rabbit hole we could just keep going down and talking more and more about it.
I like the fire example, though. That's a really good one. So getting back to our partnership, and you just shared one example of things, can you share a use case, a real life use case of how we worked together very recently? Yeah,
so we unfortunately can't announce who the end customer was, but it's a very large tennis competition that happened recently. So we were, this is the first implementation of the Red5 CacheFly running on Red5 Cloud for this customer. It was a pretty cool experience where we're doing live real-time streams in, and then putting them on Meta headsets for a VR experience, so you could experience the tennis matches and then flip between the different courts that were actually happening in real time. And then that experience is being shown in the display. I don't have all the details about how that group who was putting that part together and what the real end experience was, but they had really good success with this, and the recordings were really essential for them. because they had playbacks of the stuff. So it's not like you had just during the live game or the match, the people were watching these things, but they also wanted to be able to see, step back in time, do replays, and then maybe they want us to store it actually for an additional 6 months so that they have this stuff available to do experiences after the fact. So it's a good example of where the recordings with the real time was really essential for this one.
So it's fair to say that live sports is a really ideal use case for our partnership.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
All sports games are recorded for various reasons. Either it's clippings and you need to get stuff out of it in real time, putting stuff together on the fly. I mean, there's another example of AI usage, being able to pull out clips and then use a language model to actually then figure out how best to use it. And then that's something that can be pushed to social media or become part of the broadcast as well. Like pulling, hey, this is what happened here, like commentators going over the top. Mm-hmm. So the recordings and HLS play a major role in all of this. So.
That's great. Yeah. So we promised to not have death by PowerPoint today and have a conversation, but I'll pause here because we've been doing a lot of talking to see if there are any questions from anybody in the audience that we could address.
Yeah, go ahead. I'd like to understand a little bit of... Uh-oh, they're going to do the mic police are here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, this might be too detailed and might need a slide, but could you maybe give a little bit more technical detail about how the two tech stacks interact, how you complement each other at the delivery level?
Sure. So we have a clustering model, right? So with let's say we're using a WebRTC delivery use case. So we've got an SRT ingest coming in. That comes into typically a transcoder node in our architecture. These are like VMs running on, let's just say we're running on Oracle Cloud for now, right? And in fact, that's where our Red5 Cloud is hosted, so Oracle's a great partner of ours. So we've got a VM with the stream coming in. We generate a multiple bit rate off of that, so ABR ladder, right? And then that gets pushed into one of our origin nodes, which receives the stream. It helps distribute it out to edge nodes, which then the WebRTC subscribers are connecting to these edge nodes, right? You can just kind of picture this fan out with a tree kind of architecture. When we start getting into millions of concurrent viewers and stuff, we have another node called the relay, so then you can get exponentially more connections going out than what a single origin would be able to handle. You're totally right, a diagram would help for this, but hopefully...
No, I think
okay, so that's...
At what point CacheFly...
Yeah, no, this is great. Okay, so that's all going on for the live stuff, all right? So that's the WebRTC delivery part. What we're also doing is writing to an NFS mount, okay, on the OCI. We're writing out TS segments on the fly. We've got a M3U8 file, which is already up in CacheFly, which we're continually updating with the manifest details. And then those TS segments are being constantly uploaded up to CacheFly, made available with a single URL, which is also super helpful for the customer, right? And then on the player side, the player is configured with that URL for an M3U8, and it's also got the WebRTC connection to that edge. And then so when a person initiates a pause and they want to like scrub back, flips the player, it's totally transparent to the user, right? But that's what's happening. And then you're in HLS mode at that point, right? And that's pulling from CacheFly.
That's perfect. That's kind of what I assumed, but thank you for clarifying.
All right, sure, absolutely. Thanks for the great question, too.
We should definitely build that diagram.
Oh, I have it. I could have given it to you, but I'm sorry.
Next time, next year.
Any other questions? Yep, David.
Hello, I would like to ask, are you able to utilize the storage from, I don't know, CacheFly or other, to connect the streams to some cloud AI for actually evaluating what the streams are showing in a case of a fire or something like that? Or is it on premises, or can it be?
Oh, that use case I was talking about with the fire stuff? Yeah, it can be done either on-prem or in the cloud. The same architecture that I was describing earlier can be deployed on-prem using like a hyperscaler, like a Hyper-V or OpenStack or one of those, our clustering just ties into it. We actually use Terraform to do the spin ups and spin downs, so it allows us to hit virtually any network. We have great partnership with AWS, for example, so you could use it deployed on AWS. And then, I mean, frankly, we could also use other CDNs. We have a preferred one, but you know, if a customer has a lock-in and a commitment with Akamai, for example, the whole setup is totally possible with that. So.
Okay, so if we need to provide the AI with a URL to
all right, the AI part of this, right?
Okay.
So usually the AI stuff, we're actually running a brew, is what we call it. We have an API, C++ API that actually will extract the frames from the live stream, and then that is made either available on like an S3 compatible storage, which CacheFly has one of their own, which will be our default for the Red5 cloud system, but it could also be Amazon's S3. And then those files are continually being updated so that then a VLM or language model could be pulling from them. Same with the audio segments. On Red5 Cloud, though, we're doing a bit more of an optimization there where we're actually streaming that content to another node that's running the VLM on a GPU instance so that we can actually do it even faster. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for the question. And I think we are just about at time, unless there are any other questions. I think we're wrapping up now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you.